Hey there, sports fans. Mike Crook coming at you with another episode of Laces Out. This is going to be our championship week edition, where we're going to do a quick pick of all the different FBS conference championships happening this week, starting on Friday with the Mountain West Conference Championship. We're actually not going to be doing any other real content because right now, as of the recording of this on Wednesday, December 4th, is National Signing Day. So for next week's episode, we're actually going to be talking about different coaching changes and all the different recruits that have been picked up for both Florida State and CU, and kind of look and see where both of those teams are going to be heading into the 2025 season with those new additions. So stay tuned for that. But hopefully we got the graphics figured out for all of our game picks. So let's see how well that works out and see what everyone thinks about that. So let's go. All right, first things first, we've got a Friday night matchup, two games actually. We've got the Mountain West Conference Championship between UNLV and Boise State. Boise State comes into this game at 11-1, with UNLV coming in at 10-2, both ranked in the top 20. And Gentry, honestly, is one of the top Heisman candidates at running back. This kid's a beast. Look for him to just destroy the running Rebels. I don't see this one being a close game. Look for Boise State to run away with this one, literally, by at least 20 points. Next up, we have the AAC Championship. That's redundant. The American Athletic Championship between Tulane and number 24, Army. Honestly, Army, I thought that they would still be undefeated by this time in the season, but they are sitting at 10-1 and ranked at 24th in the country. I don't see this one as being a very close contest, but it's going to be a very fun one to watch if you do happen to pick up this game in your region. I would take Army by this one, though, by like 10 points. Nothing major, but I see them, the Golden Knights taking a win on this one and finish out the regular season. Right. Next up, we've got our Saturday slate. There's got 4 championship games going on Saturday. First up, a 10 a.m. Mountain Time kickoff, noon Eastern Time for those of you on the East Coast, is going to be the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship, Iowa State and Arizona State. I'm still very bummed that CU is not being represented in this because I thought that they were going to be a team of destiny, but they needed that Kansas win. It didn't happen. Water under the bridge. Let's move on. Number 16, Iowa State against number 15, Arizona State. Both of these dogs coming in at 10-2. Both have some really great guys on this roster that can do a lot of damage. Honestly, I haven't seen a whole lot of tape of them up front because CU didn't play either of these teams, but I'm going to actually go with Arizona State on this one in a close one, 4 points or less over the Cyclones of Iowa State. Next up, we have a 4 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff, 2 o'clock Mountain Time, between number 5 Georgia, number 2 Texas for the SEC Championship game. This one, not going to lie, I had Georgia picked in my championship game going up against Ohio State. I still think that Georgia could do some damage to Texas on this one, but Texas has really proven to be a very tough team for me this year. So I'm kind of having a hard time picking against them, especially because I'm kind of going against my earlier pick at the beginning of the season for an Ohio State-Georgia pick for the Natty. But give me Texas in this one by 7 points or less. It's going to be close. Georgia's really going to come at those Longhorns with everything they've got, but I think in the end, when all the dust settles, Texas walks away with this one with a 7-point win. Next up, we've got a doubleheader, 8 o'clock Eastern Time kickoff, 6 o'clock Mountain Time. First up, the ACC Championship game against number 17 Clemson and number 8 SMU. This one's kind of laughable because, honestly, Miami thought that they were going to have a lock to be in this game against SMU, but, they kind of screwed the pooch late in the season, and now they're they're potentially going to be left out of the playoffs entirely for a 3-loss Alabama team. I mean, not going to lie, karma kind of sucks, doesn't it? Everyone was griping against Florida State last year, going undefeated, and still getting left out of the playoffs because of an injured quarterback. Miami 2-loss team can't even get into their own conference championship game, and they're getting snubbed for a 3-loss Bama team, and their quarterback's healthy. So, anyway, I digress. I'm still not salty about that at all, am I? But I think that SMU is they've got the firepower to win this one. Clemson has the veteran experience in games like this, plus a veteran coach in games like this. And I think Dabo's going to have his kids ready for this one. It's going to be a dogfight. But look for the Mustangs of SMU to actually come away with a win on this one by, let's say 10 points. It's going to be close going into the fourth quarter, but somehow It's going to be a really bad turnover, like at a most inopportune time turnover, that's going to allow SMU to extend a 3-point lead into a 2-possession game, 10 points or more, or 10 points roughly, by the time that the clock goes to 0. So that's my pick. SMU, roughly 10 points over Clemson, going into the college football playoffs. No one thought this team would make any noise in the ACC, and yet here they are. Lastly, the Big Ten championship game. Penn State and Oregon. I thought Ohio State was a lock to be in this one, but you know what? It is what it is. Penn State and Oregon, and it's going to be a rough game. I don't know of any scenarios where Penn State walks away with a win in this one, but you never know. Sometimes championship games, just like rivalry games, things just kind of work out a little bit different. So I'm going to go against the grain on this one, and I'm going to support my boy Trey on this one. I'm going to call Penn State 3 points or less. They're going to get a surprise upset win over the Oregon Ducks and vault themselves not just into the playoffs, because they are pretty much a lock for the playoffs in general, but lock themselves into a first-round bye in the playoffs and get one of those top 4 spots as a conference champion. So there you have it, folks. Championship week picks are now in for Laces Out. The season is just about winding down. Next up, we have the hardware getting passed out, and then the traditional bowl games to end the season before we crown a new national champion. Who do you think it's going to be? Right now, only one of my teams even has a shot at the playoffs. I don't think Ohio State, they could get in. Don't get me wrong. Ohio State could still get in. It could still be a Georgia-Ohio State game. It's looking really slim that my pick is actually going to be right on that one, but we'll see. As for right now, that'll do it. If you like the content, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to share it all out. We greatly appreciate the patronage, and it helps all the social media gods with all their little fun algorithms. So until next time, enjoy this weekend's slate of games, and we'll see y'all next week for another episode of Laces Out. Take care.